In the age of wearables and smart apps, runners now have access to training plans generated at the push of a button. These algorithms promise to guide users to personal bests or marathon finishes with science-based precision. But despite their convenience and appeal, one-size-fits-all training plans, no matter how tech-savvy, often miss the nuance required to truly support long-term health, injury prevention, and peak performance. Increasingly, evidence suggests that individualized coaching, grounded in a runner's real-life context and biological response, may be the key to replacing generic algorithms and unlocking safer, more effective training outcomes. Pre-programmed training plans generally follow well-established formulas: increase mileage gradually, alternate hard and easy days, taper before race day. They work well enough for some. But these systems typically rely on fixed assumptions about recovery rate, stress tolerance, and adaptation speed. They assume a generic runner with predictable responses to stress, and they adjust workloads based on standard metrics like pace, mileage, and cadence. What they rarely account for are the variables that matter most: sleep, illness, mental fatigue, hormonal shifts, biomechanical quirks, and stress from work, school, or family life. This creates a blind spot. A wearable might recommend a hard interval session on a day when your HRV is suppressed, your knees are still sore from a hilly run 2 days ago, or you haven't slept more than 5 hours all week. Because the plan is based on rigid inputs, last week's mileage, or a preset calendar, it lacks the flexibility and insight that human coaching or self-awareness can provide. Following it blindly may not just stall progress, it can push you toward burnout or injury, all while the data tells you you're on track. Personalized training is fundamentally different. It's not about plugging numbers into a model. It's about interpreting trends in light of an individual's lived experience. A good coach or a self-aware athlete can recognize when a tempo run needs to become an easy jog, or when a recovery day needs to turn into a complete rest day, based on subtle feedback like mood, appetite, muscle tension, or training monotony. These are things an algorithm may miss, but they can determine whether training results in growth or breakdown. Even advanced AI-driven training platforms that claim to use heart rate, sleep, or HRV data still operate on incomplete information. Most can't fully interpret biomechanical compensation, mental fatigue, hormonal fluctuations, or how multiple stressors interact. Two runners with identical sleep scores and heart rates may still have wildly different risk profiles due to past injuries, running form, menstrual cycle phase, or chronic stress levels. A personalized plan, shaped with real-time human judgment, can adapt to these unique patterns and protect performance from turning into pain. Moreover, individualized coaching allows for proactive adjustments, not just reactive ones. A coach can detect stagnation or form slippage before it becomes a problem, adjust based on race goals and feedback, and encourage strength or mobility work that algorithmic plans often overlook. Personalized plans can be built around travel, life events, or injury rehab, making them more sustainable for real-world runners, not just idealized versions of them. This doesn't mean that wearable-based plans are useless. For beginners or time-crunched runners, they offer structure and motivation. They can help users build consistency and track progress. But they're tools, not oracles. When followed rigidly, they risk turning runners into passive participants in their own training. Individualized coaching encourages ownership, reflection, and long-term thinking, traits that tend to correlate more strongly with both performance and injury resilience. Ultimately, running is as much an art as it is a science. Your body is not an equation to be solved. It's a system that adapts, fluctuates, and responds to your whole life, not just your training. Personalized coaching recognizes that complexity. And as the limitations of generic algorithms become clearer, especially in light of rising injury rates among recreational runners, the future of smart training may not be smarter tech, but more human, responsive, and individualized guidance.